Hey there guys, today's project is going to be a sharp departure from the last video where you saw me painting IBC totes and talking about a wildlife rainwater harvesting system, because I haven't quite finished the second portion of that project. So I figured I'd take you on to another project that is not going to be finished by the end of this video, but from what you can see behind me, it is mostly finished, and as you can tell by the title, it is a swing set slash playground set for my daughter's shipping container Playhouse project that I built probably 3 or 4 years ago. And anyway, let me show you how I got it to the point that you see it right now. I will talk about what all the features are in it and what I still have to add, and that'll be the video. Alright guys, as I indicated in the beginning, this first video is really just going to be focused on building the basic framework and foundation of this playground structure. So while in this first part of the build I'm not going to be adding the monkey bars, swings, and other accessories, I do definitely think it is still worthy of its own video, because just like building a house or anything else, you really got to have a good foundation before you start adding all of the cool features. And just a quick note about the materials that I'm using in this build. Most of what you will see me welding up for this main frame is 4" by 4" by 1/8" thick steel tubing. I acquired this about 1.5 to 2 years ago from my buddy Troy in a steel barter trade transaction, and it is also part of the same steel that I used to build my shipping container shop awning about a year ago. So I'll put a link up to that video in case you're interested in seeing it. And I am Mig Welding almost all of this. And here's a clip of what I do when the wind gets too harsh for normal MIG welding. I wrap a canvas tarp around me and kind of cradle the weld area so that the wind doesn't blow the gas away. Now once I had the main framework of the playground structure welded, it was now time to put it in the ground, and thanks to my neighbor Jason and my father-in-law Les, this process was made at least 50% easier. My neighbor Jason has a side business where he runs a skid steer service, and he offered to auger the holes, which saved me hours of digging with the post hole digger. And my father-in-law Les, you'll see in just a moment, brought his shop truck down to help hoist the entire structure into the holes, so we didn't have to do it manually. And here is a shot of my neighbor Jason's little business card. So if you are in the southern Arizona area and you need any sort of skid steer work, definitely give him a call. Well, just a little bit of yellow paint and this thing is starting to look a lot more like a piece of playground equipment already. Obviously the rest of the framework will be getting painted as well, but I just wanted to paint the smaller sections first, as they should be much easier to tape off when I get ready to paint the rest of it. So what I'm going to do right now is just give you a quick little walk around, talk about what all the parts and pieces of the playground equipment are. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. And then I'll also talk about a couple of other things that I still need to add on to this, which will obviously be in the next video. So front and center, the first noticeable feature of the playground is the big, tall, yellow pole. It stands just under 12 feet above the ground level and will function as a little fireman's pole for the kids to slide down or climb up or do whatever. And I placed it in that location so that it can be used in conjunction with the little homemade ladder that I added to the inside of the framework. If you're wondering why that ladder section goes from thicker tubing right there to thinner, well, that was just me using the tubing that I had available. I had a couple of pieces of longer tubing there and there, but I wanted to save them for those sections because all of these are concreted in the ground about 32 to 36 inches. And quite frankly, I think this piece was like 5.5, 6 feet, and if I concreted that in, it'd only be like 3.5 feet above the ground. But I probably will add a little platform here for them to climb up and stand on to make it easier to get on the pole. But that is what that section is for. Moving on over here, obviously these are pretty self-explanatory. This is a little gymnastics style bar that my daughter can, you know, hop up on and tumble over, hang from her knees on, whatever she wants to do. And then over here, this will function as a pull-up bar for myself, just doing normal adult type workouts, but also be a place that my daughter can hang from, use little silks or different attachments, whatever she's into at the time, perhaps a rope or something like that. And then moving back to the main beam, this will house two swings, just two full-size normal swings, and then either a climbing rope or a little ring or something that she can kind of use for all sorts of things that she's interested in. She likes a lot of the circus kind of things, so that could be an addition as well. And there is a couple of things that I still will need to add, and you can see on that side, both of those serve a function of being useful, but they also serve to stabilize this whole framework from moving this way. But this side doesn't really have much, so what I plan to do here is add a piece of steel tubing from here all the way over to the Playhouse, and this will have little bars coming out from it so they can kind of be like monkey bars for my daughter to go across, but it'll also serve to stabilize this end of the playground set so that over time, as people are swinging and playing on it, it doesn't become loose. I know it's very overbuilt, but that's usually the way I do these things. And then I don't know, there's a couple other things I'm thinking about doing, but I'm not quite sure. But other than that, that is pretty much it for now. And I just thought of this, for those of you who did watch my shipping container Playhouse build and are wondering why it looks different, well, that is because I took off the original wood siding which I had made out of old fence boards, and they just didn't hold up well. And this is a hardy board siding, kind of like a concrete wood fiber mix, but anyway, it looks a ton better, and I wish I would have done this type of siding when I first originally did the Playhouse. Well, I think that is going to do it for this video and this first part of the build. In the next part of this build, you'll see me add the monkey bar setup that will go from the framework to the Playhouse. That will also be giving it a lot of stability. I'll be adding all the swing hardware, climbing ropes, whatever else I decide to put on there. And I will be painting the main framework. And who knows, maybe something I haven't even thought of yet. So anyway, as always guys, I appreciate you watching. I will add a link to my shipping container Playhouse build in case anybody hasn't seen that and is interested in looking at it. And that's gonna do it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you on some random build on the next video. See ya.
Why don't I be me and you be you? We're spreading color around us. We're lighting up the sky, it's what we do. We shouldn't care about anyone or anything that brings us down. So come on now, let's be free. Just
Nice.
be yourself.